So the Irish people have had enough. New hate speech laws that came in after the riots in Dublin, the far right riots. You know, young Dubliners kicking off, and it all started over some young children and a teacher being stabbed by someone who was not born in Ireland. We've got immigration, we've got the hate speech, and we've got the protest coming. So on the immigration front, recently, Racket Hall in County Tipperary, the locals, residents were protesting another 160 places in that hotel going to immigrants. Yeah, the Garda were there in force. Now the Irish people, for me, aren't racist. They polled the Irish people. 85% said they'd have no problem living next door to a Muslim. They've got no problem with some Ukrainians coming. They've not got a problem with some immigration. However, they're getting swamped. The Irish people have had enough. I think it's 12-13% of all places in Irish hotels have gone to immigrants, and they're going from these hotels to social housing. There is no social housing in Ireland. It's a crisis, way worse than it is here. It's going to happen here, it's happening here, but it's way worse. The people aren't happy. The politicians, you know, joint parties and that, can't get the shit together. They're all for it, aren't they? They're trying to shut people down. You've no right to protest against immigration. That's what they're being told. Then you've got the right to protest. Northern Ireland, public sector workers striking. The biggest strikes in the history of Northern Ireland. Everybody's out. Again, this is to do with the Irish government and the British government. Yeah? Wages. There's a massive gap in wages to what people are paid. Teachers in Northern Ireland, what they're paid in Great Britain. Northern Ireland's starting pay for a teacher, 24,000. In Scotland, 32,000. 8 grand difference. Similar living standards. I believe there's a big protest coming in Ireland in the beginning of February. Possibly the biggest ever again. You know, people are rising up. Ireland's going to war. Let me stop myself right there. You can't say things like that now, can you? You know, Conor McGregor pulled over for the things he said. He incited nothing in. We all know what he meant, his sentiment. He's had enough of his country, what the politicians are doing to it. You know, he cares about his country, but you can't say things like that. Even if they're in context, you can't say things like that. And those Dublin riots, what came about after them with the far right? Yeah, new hate speech laws in Ireland. Basically, wearing of t-shirts, carrying a banner or a placard, a meme or cartoon or something similar, going against protected groups, and they're going to be turning up at your home. They only have to suspect. They're going to be turning up at your home. They'll be taking your electrical equipment, laptops, cameras, phones. And again, it's against the law to have those password or PIN protected. That's not good, is it? So a recent example. Let Women Speak is a movement that is just that. Let women speak. It's women speaking about protected spaces for women. Men in women's sports and everything to do with that. Recent rally in Northern Ireland. Yeah. Some of the people who attended that rally were wearing t-shirts. Woman. Adult, human, female. Truth, facts, biology, science. So they were at a rally and some of these people were speaking. They then went to a local bar Some of the young people in the bar had seen about this rally, and they decided that these people, yeah, were transphobes. T-shirt, woman, adult, human, female. And they decided they weren't going to serve them. They were told in no uncertain terms. And what's being bandied about now is no debate. There's no debate. You can't talk about these things now. And the Irish government have written this, the protected group, the trans group, into the hate speech. They're shutting down conversation now, aren't they? Again, take a step back. Truth, facts, biology and science mean nothing to these people. You know, Ireland's been fucked over by the British government for a long time. After the last video I did on Ireland, loads of emails. What happened in Dublin with the stabbings, which is, you know, it is absolutely tragic. People telling me what really happened, who was involved, how the press portrayed it, how the press shut down some people, how the press and government pushed their own narrative. And again, what came about from all that? Hate speech laws. Getting fucked left, right and centre, Ireland, but the people have had enough. You know, the strikes, you might not put the two together. They've had enough, you can see it. Plenty of videos on YouTube, plenty of stuff on social media. The hotel in Tipperary, people are angry and pissed off. Yeah, we'll accept some immigration. Poor people of Ukraine, no problem. But just flooding the country and dispersing these people, here's the thing, to little villages. You know, small populations, big hotel, tourist spot. That hotel's taken over by young men. They're not families, are they? Ireland's done its bit over the years. Vietnam War, taking Vietnamese families and the like. They just disperse. You know, they're not an issue, they're not a problem. They've done their bit. Their own governments are fucking them over. They're not allowed to protest. They're being told, you have no right to protest against immigration. Whether it happens here, not what's happening in Ireland, whether we start protesting, I don't know. A lot of people probably sat back, yeah, thinking it's not affecting me, and it might well not. But we've also got the issue, we've already got the issues here with the NHS, waiting lists, A&Es, dentists, NHS dentists, senior GP waiting times. Over the last 10 years, it's got worse and worse. When I was a young man, a young lad, a teenager, breaking my shoulder at rugby, you know, you're good at A&E and you might be seen in half an hour. If it were really busy, like a Friday or a Saturday, it might be an hour. And there were A&Es everywhere. And then they started shutting them, didn't they? Because the NHS is in crisis. It's not in crisis. It's being badly run. It's got loads of tossers in jobs that we don't need. They need to get rid of them. And how about we start spending some money where it's needed on the infrastructure of this country and not sending the taxpayers' hard-earned cash elsewhere. Plenty of money for elsewhere, isn't there? We can send it abroad to fight wars. Send it to countries who have space programs and are going to be far wealthier than us. But we can't spend it here. It stinks. Thanks for your continued support for the channel. God bless Ireland and all the Irish people. It's about time you started waking up, guys. Thanks for coming. I'll see you.